We go about 15 seconds early. Okay. Welcome. Live from the crossroads of America. It definitely ain't pre-recorded, I can tell you that. A talk show about guns, politics, or anything else that crosses my mind. Answer questions or anything else you want to know, email me, either do it in the chat or email me at rickslife@gmail.com or spottedrick@gmail.com. I have a Patreon page, PayPal, and all that other stuff in the info section below. So we got that out of the way. Anyway, before I introduce the panel, I apologize for not being here Wednesday. I don't know what it was with my computer. I don't think it was a virus in the end. It was just, this is an old laptop I use. I bought it in 2017, I think, at the time. It was pretty modern then, but it's so slow. I mean, I get notification every time I looked at it. It's not compatible with Windows 11. I wasn't planning on loading Windows 11, but it won't take it. But anyway,
go back to 10.
I don't know what in the hell. It just it wouldn't load shit. It just moved. It was so what? Luckily, I had most everything backed up. It was on a separate drive that I did a couple of months ago. I mean, that was the best deal I had. So in the end, I just reformatted the fucker, reloaded Windows on it, then loaded everything. But it took me hours because there were certain programs that didn't, I had to search or find them and reload them or download them and stuff. So it took me most of Wednesday evening to get it all done. But it's still running slow, but at least when I click on something, it might be slow, but at least it works. You know what I'm saying? So we're back up and running until I can get a new computer one day. I don't want to say it was Scriv in the room, but I might have to do me a GoFundMe for a new computer. Now, I'll save
put it on your credit card.
Yeah, just put it on the credit card. Yeah, I'm putting everything on the credit card and just getting myself deeper in debt. So, that's who did we lose? Who did I lose?
Barbecue.
Yeah, barbecue. Okay, he's back. Good. All right, let me introduce my panelist. Coming in from the state of Ohio, we got Jason Stewart.
Hey, Rick, thanks for the invite. Glad to see everybody. Everybody out there in the chat. Good to see you.
Maybe I shouldn't say what state you come from, because isn't that part of, was it doxing you or whatever, letting people know where you're at? Yeah.
That's okay, man. I have bad credit. I'm not scared.
Yeah. So then we got everybody's lovable friend, Squibload. How you doing?
All right.
I'm glad to hear it. Then we got the one and only New York Outcast.
What's up, everybody? Happy Saturday. Thanks for having me. Thanks for joining us.
I was peckish about 12:30, 12:45 today, and guess what I had? A salad.
Nice.
Nice.
I'm rubbing off on you.
With some Italian dressing on it. I know that wasn't a good part, but hey, at least I had the salad.
I eat Italian. Shit, I believe even Squib had a salad over the weekend.
Yeah.
They put more poisons on your vegetables that you just made your salad out of than a McDonald's cheeseburger.
True. I agree. Then we got good old Guns and Barbecue. How you doing?
Pretty good, Rick. Thanks.
Okay. All right. A lot of people. Chat. First in the room was Kingpin. Then we got Squibload, who's doing double duty. Then we got Tactical Fud. Jason Stewart's doing double duty too. And who else? With 2 Live Moo. And don't know who else. Yeah, I think that's it at the moment. So I know it's I mean, it's middle of summer, and so it's been raining here for the last couple of days on it. You know, we've had some heavy rain. We needed it too. It was dry as son of a bitch here. So,
did you happen to catch your cover show, Rick?
No. I
Man,
was working on getting stuff organized on my
do
computer.
you at least see the thumbnail?
Yes, I did.
I thought that was pretty cool, man.
Yes.
Nobody said anything about the thumbnail.
I know they don't.
If I ever end up in a wheelchair, I'm using those, man. There's even more, but they were a little too racy, we'll say, for your show thumbnail. But man, they got some funny handicap stickers out there. So anybody that's got a sense of humor and handicap, I'd be getting into those. Let me tell you, pretty cool.
Nobody looks at the thumbnails. Nobody looks at them. So.
Oh my gosh.
We busted a hole in the wall last night.
Sorry. Anyway, as I think people caught this. I think it was talked about, but what I want to know is, as my thumbnail says, why in the hell does the Department of Education need goddamn Glock 23s, shotguns, and body armor? Does anybody know? What's dangerous about the Department of Education?
I'd like to think because they have security teams in all schools, but we all know that's not the case.
There must be a reason why.
Truancy officers?
Well, maybe.
Obviously most places do that, but some of the rougher places.
You show up at somebody's door knocking on it, say, "Hey, get your kid in school, or else we're going to give you a fine." Maybe it's met a little different.
Or
we don't even have those here. Or if there is one, it's an actual officer that'll come around with a CPS agent. So we don't have a technical truancy officer. We have can't think of what they call him here, but basically it's a cop that hangs out at the school. I can't think of what they call it, but he's an officer first. Basically, he doesn't work for the school or get funding from the school.
Yeah. So I was just curious. I don't know why, but they did buy them. And I was just curious why they done it. And there must be I don't know. I'm trying to think. Department of Education's got to do with schools, unless it's got to do with some, some really heavy duty shit, which I don't understand what.
Have you ever seen The Principal?
That movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
It might justify some of it.
Yeah.
I see where you're going with this from what's been talked about lately and what we'll see here soon to come out. But they've been doing this for years. Every single department of that you would not think would need armed in any way buys millions of dollars in guns and buys millions of dollars in ammo. They've been doing this for years. They're just griping about it now. They did it under Trump too, and you never heard about it. They've been doing this for years.
Now,
I think it's real easy. Wait, real quick. I think it's real easy to, start putting the fear mongering out there. Well, they're building an army inside the government and they're arming themselves up against us. Man, the bottom line, the real truth is they've been doing it for years and they ain't done nothing. Every one of them guns and every one of them bullets will just somehow disappear. But the money's still flowing around. I'm not worried about the Department of Education or the railroad retirement funds buying M16s and magazines and all this and that. It'll disappear, man. This is another Iran-Contra. These guns are going to the cartels in Mexico. These guns are getting sent to Ukraine, getting sold, getting disappeared, being absorbed into Fast and Furious programs. Yeah, they're doing it to hurt us, and they're doing it just to spend money, and they're doing it to hide money. Like we'll take it for granted, like, oh, well, they're not paying $1 for a bullet, they're not paying $5,000 for a rifle or whatever. You'd be surprised. What if you go look and them stupid guys are saying they gave $10,000 for that rifle? They're just hiding money, man. They're not really, I don't believe, building any army against us. Even if they was, it's a spec. It's not going to do anything. I mean, so what? There's a warehouse somewhere under the name of the Department of Education that the New World Order is going to use for supplies. I don't buy all that. This is just money and black programs and funding things that happen every day that you don't want to really know about. Like I said, they've been doing this for years and years and years. They even did it under Trump, and nobody said a word. So I wouldn't just like panic about it.
Oh, right. I see where you're coming from. Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, as you said, the
Well,
stuff being funneled somewhere else.
It was under Obama that some congressmen's raised stink, and they had their little congressional hearings. And I forget which agency it was. It was like the Food and Drug Administration bought more bullets in 1 year than our soldiers did over in the Middle East for a year. More than they shot in a year. The FDA, the Food and Drug Administration, bought more bullets than that. It's a
like
scam.
they're down in Mexico now.
Yeah, it's in Bosnia. It's somewhere. It's been in Syria. All our stuff probably used to go there too. It's a scam. Most of the stuff is probably bought in the last 10 years is now in the hands of the Taliban in Afghanistan.
Yeah. You're right. You're right. That's more than likely, that's more than likely what the Department of, this is sort of like how they're covering it up, per se, by getting every department to buy a little bit, hoping that nobody notices that it's getting funneled elsewhere.
Yeah, no one ever seems to push, well, show them to me. Show me how many you bought last time. What happened to all them? What happened to the stuff you've been buying every year? Where's it all at? Nobody questions this. This is a topic for us in the 2A community. Rest of the world in America don't know about it. They'll never cover this on the nightly news. Like I said, this has been going on for years. Even doesn't matter if it's an R or a D in front of the president's name. This has been going on for years, and it's going to continue to go on.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it is. It is. I can see it going on and on and on. It's just that we just happen to, as 2A, we just happen to notice it.
So the Department of Education has an investigations branch, more or less their own police department, like the post office has their own police department, the railroad has their own police department. All these agencies have these police departments. Now, I can understand in some cases them having some sort of law enforcement arm of a department because they're trained in that, they specialize in it, that's all they do, right? They're not issuing traffic tickets and that sort of thing. But in some cases, I think this is a waste just in the sense that this department has no business, no need for an investigations department, a department that's going to arrest some crooked superintendent or some crap like that. They could simply hand it off to local law enforcement, state law enforcement, the FBI. There are a lot of things that could be handed off to a law enforcement branch that is good at doing investigations and good at handling arrests and things like that. This is more of a waste of our government money than anything else, more than some conspiracy or them laundering money or arming our enemies or any of this other garbage. It's just more waste. Now, some people will say, what do we need all these different branches of the military for? We could just do one, just the United States military and not have a Space Force, an Air Force, a Marine Corps, an Army, a Navy, a National Guard. And to some extent, they're actually right. You could just call it the U.S. military and make, generic ranks and integrate the stuff. But traditionally, it's been separated because they specialize in things. And on occasion, they work together and overlap. The same thing can be said about the Department of Education, the Department of Interior, the Department of Agriculture, all these, right? But there's a certain point where you've got to look at it and say, why do we need this? For example, the Marine Corps gave up its tanks last year because of money. They needed money for things like helicopters and whatnot, and tanks were weighing them down. They go, why do we have tanks? The Army can do this. We'll take the beach and then they can fly the tanks in later, or we'll land the tanks with the Navy ships and just have the Army, because they've had the Army serve aboard Navy ships before and things like that, right? And in order to make ends meet, they've made cuts like that. I have no idea why the Department of Education cannot hand off certain things that they might be criminally investigating to the FBI. It makes no sense at all.
I think it goes right back to what Jason said. So this touches close to a sensitive area in a sense, but there's a lot of agencies out there the average person has no clue of. Some of their funding comes from questionable places. Not necessarily questionable, but questionable forms. It's not all approved through some things, plausible deniability. I mean, that is public. You can go back and see this and through some hearings and stuff. I can't point you to which ones, but it's been out for a long time. So money does get, moved around in manners to not really show up in the public eye. So it's just how it goes. I'm sure some of it is those departments, but in a sense, the FDA, I mean, I doubt they're training more of, what's averagely shot in a war, because if you look at really the hit ratio, they're putting a lot of rounds down per hit and everything in war for state. I doubt any police force is training like that, to exceed that limit personally. So there's something there. I mean, and it's been historical. Jason brought up Iran-Contra. That's one of the big ones, this stuff happens all the time. Just because we don't hear about them all doesn't mean it don't happen regularly. That's how they do business. Like a big company.
You gotta see and understand too. I mean, I'm sure it happens, but it's rare. But these government departments, these separate agencies, all of them, they run on a budget, a yearly budget that is approved and given to them. You'll never hardly, this is what I'll say, it'd be rare, maybe it happens, but you'll never find a department that has like a budget surplus. The old saying, you know what I mean? Like they want $1 million this year, they'll want $2 million next year, and they'll want $3 million the year after that. You'll never find them coming in saving money. You know what I mean? That's just not going to happen.
Oh no, because the following year they're getting less.
You're not.
Yeah.
If they don't use it, they lose it.
Yes, that's exactly it. Okay. As somebody who used to be a federal employee, that's the way you do it. You literally spend right down to the last dime at the end of the year, because if you don't, next year they'll cut your budget.
Oh, absolutely.
You might be able to get more next year. You might not be able to get more next year, but they will cut your budget if you don't spend every last dime. And that's exactly what you do. You're going to spend as close as you can, or you might even go over. And that's how you do it. That's the way you play the game in the government. That's the way. That's the way you do it.
When I was working in the commissary, running the meat department, at the end of the year, I would buy all kinds of, like the white polystyrene trays, the film wrap, you name it, extra knives. I would buy all kinds of shit to make sure we spent all our money. I used to have so much backup. I had my own warehouse. I could sell it back. I had so much of the shit. But I spent every dime, because if you don't, they'll cut you. Plus, it was good trading material.
Plus, look at the advantage of these departments by buying ammunition, weapons. They're in the good graces of the head powers that be above them. But look, if they really spent that money more honestly, what if instead of spending $50 million on bullets, they spent $50 million on school books or something? Well, we would turn around like, where's the 50 million school books? Why do you need school books next year? Because you got 50 million from last year. You know what I mean? They actually spent the money on something that they can't show and produce now, that you can't expect them to use later on or use now. It's just like funneled money. It's gone. You see what I'm saying? And they're a department of whoever or whatever. They just spent their money on something that really doesn't relate to their department. So they're back in the same boat. Oh, we need more school books. Give us 50 more million bucks, and they'll get their 50 million. What are you going to do? You going to take away school books from kids?
So I'm going to go all tinfoil hat for a second. What if it's all just to be a giant distraction and they know it? They know that these agencies aren't going to go through all the money that they're allotted each year. So they're like, you know what? If you get down to crunch time and you weren't able to spend everything, we got this great idea. Just say that you're going to spend it on guns and ammo. Because then anybody that is really into guns and ammo gets into a frenzy, they get distracted. They're not paying attention to important shit like an ATF nominee or, shit that we're trying to ram through with the ATF or anything that's going on with states that are ignoring the Supreme Court decisions that just come out or anything like that. And then
I don't buy it, but could be. You never know, but I don't buy it.
Oh, like I said, I'm going full conspiracy here, but would it really surprise anybody?
No, wouldn't surprise me.
I think things are a lot more calculated than that, personally. But it's one thing. I guess everything's got an alternate purpose, or it's always two birds with one stone.
Plus, look, we kind of got their hands tied too. What if it came out the FBI or the U.S. Marshals spent $100 million on guns and bullets? They have a legitimate use for it, but then the news would pick it up. Then they would all scream because you know which side's on defund the police. You know what I mean? They would say, oh, they're gearing up for war. Oh, they're racist. Oh, it'll be a racist war. Defund the police. That's terrible. The FBI would be under scrutiny for trying to stockpile something. Even the left would be like, something's up. But they can do it quietly, spread it out all through all the departments. And if we complain about it, we're far right wingers. We're paramilitary crazies,
I'm not saying that there aren't kickbacks that go on. There are. There's dirty dealings, just like in the private industry. And I'm not saying that sometimes they don't move things around or try to hide stuff, and then maybe it comes up later, maybe it doesn't. But a lot of stuff is government waste, or what we would consider government waste. The government buys stuff cheaper than we do, and the government buys stuff in massive quantities, more so than what somebody might think when they buy something themselves. That's what I call trailer park economics, where you're trying to put your budget into something as big as the government. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't run that way. The same way a big company doesn't run that way. There's lots of things that we see every day that we don't understand. And because our government or a big company or a YouTube channel isn't transparent about what they do, why they do what they do, people just start making up conspiracy theories, and then we get a bunch of misinformation out there because somebody said it on social media and it must be true because it was on TV, it's true. So all I'm saying is there's probably some things going on that could be somebody getting a kickback, or could be them moving some stuff around so we don't see it, or could just be the government doing things in bulk the way they do it. But the rest of it is probably stuff that we don't know or we don't understand. The same way I have no legitimate explanation as to why they need an investigation branch that works like police, why they need their own police force. It makes no sense to me. If somebody from the government could give me a plausible explanation as to why the Department of Education doesn't farm it out to the FBI, and it sounded reasonable, rational, well thought out, educated, it made sense, then I would support it. But until I see transparency, I don't support it because I see it as a waste. So that's really what we need more of, is the government just being truthful. We do it because of this. We do it because this. And people are going, oh, I never even thought of it like that. Seriously, that's what it comes down to with a lot of things in life, whether it be at the individual level, the corporate level, or the government.
I agree with you. Transparency, especially when a private company doing that, they can do it. But if they're spending our tax dollar, we have a right to know what they're doing and why they're doing it. I personally believe, and then we wouldn't be getting all this conspiracy theory bullshit if they were more truthful with us.
You know,
But
there's
then
a
again, that
really
brings us
easy
on
way
to
to find
another
out.
topic. I mean, that brings on if there just listen, hear me out. I'm going all hypothetical here, right? If there was people from another world living here right now, and the government knew about it, as a human race, could we actually handle that if they told us?
No.
Look, man, transparency. If the government was honest with us, we'd want to just destroy the government. Let's just be honest. In some cases, where they're spending our money, how they spend our money, and then how they treat others compared to how they want to regulate us, we'd want to rip their heads off as a government. So of course, they're not going to do that. I mean, I wish they were transparent, but in some aspects, it's really not good to show your hand when you're dealing with foreign nations in some cases. But as far as us, the general public, yes, I believe we should have a transparency policy, but I don't think it's ever going to happen because, you know, they got to show you what's going on with one hand while they're doing something with the other, you know, because they don't want you to know all the stuff. You'd be pissed. I mean, look at Pelosi's husband. Look at all this other stuff. I mean, the two-class party, all this stuff, the money that they get spent for food, all this. You'd get pissed if you actually sat down and knew where all this money went. We all would. Shit, I've been pissed seeing brand new shit thrown in dumpsters full of brand new shit. Like, what the hell? That's our tax money. You know, as he was saying earlier with the whole grant thing, you got to use it. What about all that Under Armour crap that would melt to your skin? So they're selling it at the PX for like $3 a shirt while everybody's paying 50, 60 at Dick's or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, yeah, this goes on and on and on.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, if you put the actual numbers up there, shit, we'd want a refund on 2/3 of our taxes.
Yeah. We used to, I mean, like in the commissary, food that was going out of date or it was a damaged box or whatever, we would throw it in the dumpster, then pour bleach over it for other people wouldn't take it. You know what I'm saying?
I've almost ate that food, man. Almost. What? I've almost ate that food. I've been that hungry.
So, I mean, that's so I understand where you're coming from. But back to my original question: if there was aliens talking about from another planet here, do you think we should be told?
Well, I kind of look at it like this. You got to understand that they has to already be here. We put men on the moon in the last 70 years. We went from improvements in technology, but still in old-fashioned ways. Just got through World War II. Now we're putting men on the moon. They got wireless communication, wireless drills up there on the moon, sending TV signals back and forth. Where you or I sit at home with a little tiny black and white TV with aluminum foil trying to get a signal. Technology just jumped. I mean, it didn't slowly work itself in, it jumped. And then here comes the computer age. And everything we have in our daily lives right now, these computers, the internet, our cell phones, the communication, I mean, the satellites, the spy equipment, that's too big of a jump in technology for the human race. Yeah. Okay. So we're already here. And look what they're doing to us now. Recently, they did the Congress hearings on all the UFO tapes they got. Nobody blinked an eye. Nobody even blinked. Nobody cares. It would be rough to just expose to the world, oh, here they are. But look how they can do it. Right now, they're teaching these new generation of children everything. There's multiple genders. You can't hate. You can't discriminate. You can't judge somebody else. They can be a transgender, a half transgender, a fourth transgender, any species they want. You just have to love them. If you don't, they hate you. What happens when they keep teaching this in the mind of 3 or 4 generations down the road? And there's nobody left here like us that would like freak out, and then they expose what's really going on. It would be all peace and love, and don't be an alien racist, and everybody will buy it.
Yeah, you're right.
They've been here forever. There's no deadline that they have to expose themselves by tomorrow. They'll groom this society generation by generation till they can come in easier.
The idea that the technology wasn't there. We always had the technology. Television signal is nothing more than radio waves. So the idea that they could transmit radio waves from the moon to the Earth, the only thing is they had a budget that would make it feasible to do so. The average American family did not have a budget to have anything really more than that television with friggin' bunny ears with a piece of aluminum foil.
Well, I was kind of getting at like microchip technology, man. We went from barely analog and mechanical devices to microchip stuff.
I mean,
100 years ago, we was on a horse. Okay.
Okay. Anyway, we're getting. I didn't want to get into science fiction. To be honest with you, it was just something I went down a rabbit hole and I shouldn't have.
So going back to your original topic, on the spending of the money and stuff, there's a pretty easy way to find out. Submit a FOIA request.
Yeah, true.
That don't mean jack crap. FOIA request. Yeah. Man, you know how many requests I put in, and then they're like, "Oh, we want to talk to you." Then I got to go and talk to a damn police chief, this and that, explain everything, and they're like, "No, if you go to court, then we'll release it." Like they don't release. They claim you can get access to anything. You can get your kids' teachers' emails if it's on their computer at school. Good luck. That's all I'm going to tell you. Good luck.
Yeah, but you're also talking about stuff that is on a local level compared to the federal level. I mean, it's going to depend on what it is, things like that, but
they don't want you to know. They don't send you nothing. Or what you get is going to be redacted, or you're going to have to hire an attorney to go through it.
So the government wanted everybody to know that they were keeping a national record.
So I don't know, man. I'm just telling you personal experience.
Billion out of business records. They wanted everybody to know that.
Can't speak for them.
Anyway,
did you
let's
hear
move on. Let's get back on my topics.
Sure. Did you hear that the Department of Extraterrestrial Affairs just purchased 40 grand at Hollow Points?
Well, actually, talking about Hollow Points, this is sort of like my next. If anybody read my my thumbnail, well, I have a question. I want to know what is a all-round. It doesn't have to be specialist type, but defense ammo for an AR-15. Or I mean, when I go plinking, I'm just using Full Metal Jacket. But if you're going to use your AR for defensive purposes, I mean, I've got 10 mags here so far, but I was thinking of buying some more to have a few with some defensive ammo in it, in case I do happen to use it for home defense or something.
I personally wouldn't worry about it, Rick.
You just live in a house by yourself, right?
Yeah.
Neighbors aren't close?
No, not really. Oh, yeah, I got one. I got a neighbor next door. Yeah, but I don't like to
use ball ammo. Screw it.
Yeah, man. 855. No need to look at anything else, man.
No, all right. I was just curious if there was, something that I'm missing here, because mind you, I've been loading my own anyway for plinking. You know what I'm saying? I'm using Full Metal Jacket. So and when I'm buying, since I haven't been able to reload for a few months because of the shortages, I've been buying Full Metal Jacket, cheapest ones I can find.
Well, there is some advantages, I guess. Buying ammunition like that for something like an AR, anything that's going to be a little faster of a round or whatnot. Basically, you know, hollow points in theory were supposed to work like hollow points. So, I mean, it may break down quicker, lose energy in your walls, things like this. So, yeah, I wouldn't tell anybody not to look into that, especially if you live in like a tight apartment building, something like that. But I just think in general, you know, works in battle. It's, you know, the cheap stuff tends to work. It does the job. And really, it's all about shot placement. I mean, don't shoot what you can't see and know what's behind your target. So I don't care if you got hollow points. You live in an apartment building. You better know what the hell's behind that wall before you start pulling the trigger. So, or be willing to take that chance. So, most of these defensive rounds, doesn't matter what you're shooting, man. They're going through drywall. So I don't care what anybody tells you. So.
Oh, I know, but I mean, what also, I understand hollow points using in a handgun when you're shooting somebody within a few feet or yards of you, but a hollow point in a rifle, you know, it doesn't make sense to me. So,
it for a hunting round, it depends. Are you trying to put down an extremely large animal, or are you harvesting this animal for its meat? You know what I mean? But, and that's my opinion, though, for your AR-15 at home, I wouldn't even look into any type of hollow point. Gun was made to fire 855, put 855 in it and nothing else. Set your sights. That's it. I mean, there's no use to play around with anything else, I guess. You're not going to tell the difference, I bet, if you have to use it.
Yeah. All right. Hey, John Brown Productions. He was a Jack.
Squid probably used hollow points. I mean, he does a lot of hunting AR platforms and stuff, but he's already out of here at this point. But it would have been a good subject there for him to touch in on. But
yeah, I think the hollow point would all just, it has to be the circumstance. You know what I mean? Especially in hunting. What do you plan on using? What round is it? How much destruction is it going to do? There's just a time and a place not to have a hollow point. So,
yeah, I don't even own any for my AR. So it feels kind of strange saying that, actually, but I don't have a single box yet.
I think you start to run into disadvantages with hollow points on a high speed rifle round. You might start to lose accuracy with that cup tip in it. And then I've seen that the ones that have, you know, like the flex tips and the little rubber seals in it, some rifles will push that out where they can show it in slow motion. That bullet will travel so fast that it's melting that rubber tip. It may take it all the way to a few feet before impact, but it built up enough friction and heat traveling through the air to melt those center tips. So, like I said, it's just all situational. Depends on the gun, the loading, what animal you're talking about. There's just it's not like the end all cure all. There's a reason and a reason not to for any hollow point in a rifle, I'd say.
I mean, here's a question for you. What's his name? Echo out in the chat might be able to answer it, or you guys can. Talking about what you were saying there. Somebody who's doing that long distance shooting shit, right? What are they using? Straightforward metal jacket?
Yeah,
you know, when they're trying to get precise grouping and shit at a fair distance. You know, if somebody's shooting at 1,000 yards at a target and wants to get it all, you know, 3 rounds inside of a quarter, are they using, you know, full metal jacket? You know,
I don't believe I ever saw precision ammo that wasn't a solid point.
No, I was just curious.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with anything like that. Usually all hard.
Yeah, honestly,
there might be a perfect situation for that. I don't know. You know what I mean, in a sense, but or sport or something to do with something. I don't know, but
I feel like a hollow point in a long range round like that, having that hole in the nose is going to end up creating either a low pressure spot that is going to slow down the bullet, or just in general going to create drag. By a low pressure spot, I actually mean almost like a area that causes a draft inside the nose of the bullet. But either way, I think it's just going to create extra drag. I know all of my long distance rounds are a solid projectile.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. All right. I was just it was just something I was thinking about today, you know. All right, moving on to my list here. I got a list again of topics. We covered that one. All right. Now, I see a few YouTube channels have done videos on it. Is the that guy who got arrested or whatever for the key card thing printed, scratched on or whatever you call it, on that like piece of plastic or metal.
Auto key card.
Yeah, auto card.
Yeah, that he's filed a lawsuit, and under Bruin, he says the NFA is unconstitutional, and he wants it dismissed, broken up. Is it? I mean, anybody seen those?
That's going to ride all the way to the Supreme Court. I'd almost guarantee it.
Well, the way the lawyer.
Does the Supreme Court take it or not?
Well, what I saw from the legal papers that they filed, the way they worded it, and referenced Bruin and some other cases on it, I believe they already handled the other side's arguments in every way. And yeah, maybe it'll go to Supreme Court, maybe it won't, but it'll go to court. But I think they got them on this one. I think that they do.
Yeah, I do too.
It's common sense to us, but they get to like they can't go and badmouth it and say, "Oh, well, you can't have a full auto, or you can't have a silencer or this because it's dangerous." But then in your own actions, if I give you $200, suddenly it's not dangerous anymore. I'm allowed to have it.
Yeah, it's all about the money.
If I fill out extra paperwork and extra hoops that Bruin just said, they shouldn't judge me by all this extra stuff. They got them on this one, man. Like I said, what are they going to say? Oh, well, no one should have an AR-15 or a full auto. Okay, well, you change your mind when I give you $200.
Yeah,
from
what I can see,
that is paying for a right that you should have, and it's like saying, okay, the rich is allowed to have something, but you, the poor, you're not. It's too dangerous for you. So they got them on this one.
Yeah, because basically what I've seen, one of them, and he's saying he's using the transcript from the original thing when the NFA was born, that it was done mainly, they admitted that they couldn't do it under the Second Amendment, but if we charge them X amount of dollars tax on it, right, we're stopping them from buying them. That's how they did it, and that is totally unconstitutional.
Well, that, and they said that those weapons weren't needed because they weren't weapons used by the military.
Yeah, but how did this silencer get on the NFA?
Because they weren't used by the military.
The military uses them.
I didn't claim that at the time. It was barely an invention at the time.
I mean, were they put on in 1934, or were they added on later?
I think they were put on right then.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, but it wouldn't be the first time I've been wrong.
Yeah. But anyway,
I'm pretty sure the 34 NFA stemmed from all the gangster crime and all that BS in the first place, and I'm I'm pretty sure some of those gangsters were known to have made their own silencers. And I know some people want to argue for semantics, but if you look it up, it actually says silencer. So,
see, like again, I think they got him on this one. Nowhere in that Second Amendment does it say I can only have a gun that the military's already had for a while and don't care about anymore.
Well, the thing is, the idea that that's what is the standard is beyond me. One, I find it funny if that's the case. You got all these politicians that are like, you don't need this; it's a weapon of war. Well, that absolutely friggin' supports the reason I need it. If you want to go by the decision for the NFA, but then the other problem is we're supposed to be the militia, not the military.
I got a question for you here. Let's go back to conspiracy theories for a minute. So, for argument's sake, say that case goes it ain't going to be decided. The Supreme Court in the United States is going to have to do something with the NFA, right? It would be great if it worked, but people who collect I've seen them. I've seen YouTubes. YouTube wouldn't lie to me, right? That there's people out there who spend big money on machine guns, and they have collections of them, worth $1 million, $2 million. Are they going to want the NFA to disappear? Because that means their investment has just gone down the fucking tubes.
That's not true.
No, not necessarily. Let's say that a lot of those guns out there are extremely rare now. Think about the Colt Python. How many people are willing to pay $3-4 grand for an original Colt Python? Tons of them. If I had that kind of expendable money right now, I would gladly buy an original Colt Python over one of the newly made ones.
Crazy.
Those guns would still hold value.
You think so?
If nothing else, people that thought that they literally last month I went to gun raffle with my buddy, and his father-in-law had built an AR at home and actually made his own lower from piece of billet, the whole 9 yards. I mean, went full hog on this thing, and then he's like, "You should just put that in your closet." I was like, "Why?" He's like, "Well, it's illegal." I was like, "There's nothing illegal about that." I was like, "That's 100% legal." I was like, "There's nothing that says you can't build your own firearm." I was like, granted now with the new definitions and blah, 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 I was like, you can start running into a gray area. But, before that, I was like 100% legal. And my point here is there's going to be plenty of people out there that just thought, oh, full autos are illegal. But how many people that thought that, and then if this became legal again, would be like, oh, shit, I've got ridiculous amounts of money, and those prices on guns like that could friggin' skyrocket at that point, because there could be a whole other market of people that opens up to because they were just ignorant in the first place.
You should check your audio or something.
Yeah, your audio is getting a bit funny there.
You sound like shit.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, you keep popping in and out, in and out. I don't know what the hell you're doing.
Yeah, I don't know if
And
you're
there's a bunch
around.
of crackling and all types of shit that keeps going on here and there too. So.
All right, Squib is back, and he did say something. I wonder why won't they lose their values? Isn't that what you were going to say, Squib?
They're antiques. We're not talking about a gun that was made yesterday in America. We're talking about a machine gun that was made in 1915 in Germany, the Empire of Germany, things like that. These are antiques. These are collectibles. You want your toy that shoots full auto or burst because you can't hit the broadside of a barn and you can't afford the ammo to feed it anyhow. You're going to go out and buy your toy. You're going to go buy the $500 full automatic high point, whatever. You're not going to go buy the $300,000 Sturmgewehr. And there's only so many of those $300,000 Sturmgewehrs in the world. So you're not going to see the person get in their Honda Civic and leave the trailer park to go out and buy one of those because the NFA was lifted.
I don't live in a trailer.
I wasn't talking about you. That's too sophisticated for you. Anyhow, what I'm saying is you're going to see these companies that are making these cheap guns make cheap full autos. And then you're going to see a bunch of these people who've been on YouTube crying and belly aching that they can't get a full auto when they can go, now I can't afford to feed it. That's what I've been telling you for years. Go get a job first. So these things are collector's items. I mean, you're going to get a full auto AR, okay, or you're going to get an M16, and then the damn thing's going to jam on you, and you're going to spend half the day at the range picking the brass out of the action, going, "Why did I buy this piece of crap?" Go right ahead. All right, I would love to have an M60, a BAR, and a bunch of other things, and maybe if they started making them again and the NFA was lifted, I would buy a new manufacturer reproduction M60, right? If it was pretty close to what I carried, but I don't know how often I would go out to shoot the thing because of how expensive it was. And I wouldn't move it to the top of my list if the NFA was lifted. There's a lot of people that talk a lot of crap. This is the same kind of people that do that will say, man, I sure would love to have a Corvette. Well, then go buy one. Oh, I can't afford it. Yes, you can. You just don't want to. I would love to have a helicopter. I'm too lazy to do what it takes to get one. Every one of us has the opportunity in this country to own all of those guns, whether they cost $300,000 or whether they cost $3,000. It's how hard do you want to work? You can say, I don't want a tax stamp, or I don't want to be on a government list. That's just a BS excuse. Like, I can't move, whatever. All right. So all of us have the ability to do it. If they lifted the NFA, you're going to see a bunch of cheap full autos flood the market. You're going to see reproductions. And you might see some of the full autos that are collectibles right now that there might be a large quantity of, or stuff that's in production right now, be a little bit more affordable. And then it's going to be careful what you wish for. You may get it kind of thing, because people are going to instantly bellyache that they can't find any ammo on the shelf because all these guys went out and bought their full auto high point, and now they can't keep up with ammo demand. Or you're going to get the thing, you're going to buy the ammo, you're going to go down to your local range, and they're going to have a rule that says no full autos here, and for whatever reason. And at the case of my range, it's the noise. It literally is the noise. Okay. And you're going to stomp your foot and go, shall not be infringed or whatever. It's private property. They can make whatever rule they want, like no shirt, no shoes, no service. So the NFA argument is such a worn out and old argument, and it's been fought by people who are so narrow-minded. One day we can lift the NFA. One day we can get rid of it because it is unconstitutional. But once we do, I just don't see this, mass influx of cheap 70-year-old guns out on the market.
Well, I'm sure if they got rid of NFA, you would start seeing full auto kits, because there's like 30 million semi-autos out there just waiting for one. Whether you can afford to shoot it, whether you actually need it, whether that's irrelevant. Customers are going to want it. So it's a product that would sell. So there's a lot of money to be made if that NFA went away. I mean,
I'd be up all night.
Like what if you could,
today,
like
making
a series,
suppressors and stuff, for full auto. So
yeah,
the hell with buying stuff. Most people, well, not most, but a lot of people could just build your own stuff. I mean, if they got rid of it. So, and honestly, I'd want a suppressor on damn near every gun, except maybe my EDC in a sense. But I don't know. I definitely like to see it gone and see it, could see a use for it. So everybody's got different opinions, but if you live in a trailer park and you do have those crazy people down the street, full auto could be handy at some point.
Not really. No,
I think suppressors would be more practical, and that industry would probably skyrocket. Just like they say, the future is red dots, and 10, 15 years from now, it would be red dots. If they'd lift that NFA, we would probably, in a short time, end up with red dotted automatic sighted guns with silencers and suppressors built into the gun. The technology would improve. The silencer, I believe, has the most benefit, especially for home defense inside your home. I think that industry would them and red dots would control the future. The automatics would have their place. I'm sure, but there would be a ton of backlash on it. But the suppressors, that would be like the most useful to us. You know what I mean?
I disagree with the NFA from the Second Amendment standpoint. It's an infringement. That's it. They have restricted, not banned, restricted. You can get a brand new manufactured machine gun if you just do all the paperwork right. But the use amendment, read between the lines. You can get a FFL, you can get an SOT. You can, I don't want to do that. That costs money. That takes a lawyer. Okay, then shut up. You can do it. All right. I don't agree with it, but it exists. The thing is, the weapons that are restricted, the things that you have to do lots of paperwork and pay a lot of money and wait and have this and have that and get audited and all the other crap, are about the most useless guns out there. But they have the cool factor. I saw it in a movie. I saw it in a video game. I saw it on a TV show. I want one. I was too much of a pussy to join the military, so I've never actually shot one of these things, whatever the hell it is. And people want to just run their mouths about it. But then you get it and find out it's not really that practical. It honestly isn't. That doesn't mean you shouldn't have the right to own it. You should have the right to own it. There shouldn't be a use amendment. There shouldn't be an NFA. There shouldn't be a lot of these things out there. They just shouldn't be there. They don't serve any purpose. But I'm telling you what, people would go out and get these things and they go like, why did I spend all this money on this? I don't ever do anything with it. But it's your money. Spend it the way you want. But even if the stuff was legal today, you're not going to see the collectible stuff go down in value. And I just think you're probably going to have more people complaining that the NFA was lifted after they ran into this problem or that problem that have nothing, literally nothing to do with the government or the Constitution.
Now, I understand what you're saying, but let's see if I can. So if you wanted to pay $300,000 for a collectible machine gun, right? Then the NFA's lifted, then the market is flooded with reproductions or other kinds of full autos, which the common man can buy because it's more affordable. That common man is not going to dream of paying $300,000 for a collectible. So really, your market has got even smaller. If you wanted to unload that, if you wanted to sell it, is there anybody there that wants to buy it?
No, because the common man would never buy it if you have to pay a tax stamp for it, or you don't have to pay a tax stamp for it, Rick. That's just it. Okay. You're never going to buy a Corvette. You could afford a Corvette. You don't want to afford a Corvette. You're never going to own one. But the guy out there who doesn't care about the payment or doesn't care about what it costs or the insurance or all the other garbage that goes with owning one because it's a pain in the ass, okay, is going to go ahead and spend that money. And it's not going to be like, man, I can never resell this Corvette because nobody's ever going to want. No, it's the same thing with cars and other stuff. Now, you might have something that is really kind of, you might think it's valuable and you can't find anybody else that thinks it's valuable, right? All right. Like trying to sell your Honda Civic. Nobody cares. Nobody wants to buy that piece of crap. Okay.
Please. People try to buy it every gas station stop.
But anyhow,
my truck too.
Your $300,000 gun is not going to go down in value because Rick, you're not going to buy it. Jason, you're not going to buy it. Outcast, you're not going to buy it. Barbecue, you're not going to buy it. And guess what? I'm not going to buy it unless my wife wins the lottery. Okay. So, but any one of us on this panel could buy a $300,000 NFA item if we wanted it that bad. You're not going to see the price. Once again, they only made so many of this. They only made so many of that. You can get a reproduction Thompson today for $1,200 or $2,500, right? It's full auto, but an original from 1928 will always be worth whatever it is, $50,000, $75,000, $100,000 because it's an original.
I guess I'm a tight ass or whatever. Because if I had if I could buy some, if I only have to pay $1,000 for a machine gun, that's a replica of the one that's $300,000. Fuck the $300,000.
You're looking at it you're looking at it trailer park economics again, Rick. The guy
I'm a trailer park kind of guy.
I'm saying, like,
machine gun. The guy who collects that doesn't give a shit about the $1,000 replica.
Everybody isn't a collector, though.
The guy who owns it The guy who owns it and wants to sell it isn't going to sell it for $1,000 to you. He's going to sell it for 300 or 350 or 500,000 to another collector. They're like
And
a
that's
clique.
why those guys will get pissed if it ever goes away.
No,
They'll
they
fight
won't.
against it.
No, because you're never going to buy it, so they don't care. They
We
don't
would
care.
buy it if
No,
it was
you
a
wouldn't.
grand, though. But
No,
that guy don't want to cough up what he invested in it, like
he
you
didn't
just
invest a
stated.
grand
So
into
he's
it.
gonna
Oh my
want
goodness,
he's
you
gonna
guys
want
are
what he paid.
It's like this, man.
It's like you're going in kind of
fucking
in circles
poor people.
on
You
it.
people
We
suck.
have a display of this right now at the stores. There's some
What
freedom.
the fuck is that?
New York, man.
But look, Rick, say I got a 1911 with a low serial number on it, and like the first patent date stamped on it was made in 1911. That gun's worth $8,000. Yeah, I could go buy a Rock Island right now for $500, or I could buy a nice little Colt for $1,000. It doesn't take away the value from my original Colt. Never will. That Colt will always gain money, just like old classic cars. The most badass, awesome Corvettes in the day that have risen to $500 to $1 million at the nice auctions. A modern day Corvette costs 60 grand. Will outperform that leaps and bounds, not even in the same category. But that classic car always goes up in value. Your
That's what I was
brand new
trying
one's
to
going to
say.
go downhill once it's drove off the lot.
If-
Just like these classic gun or these
We
machine
understand
guns
all
in the
that. I think
collection,
everybody did.
consider them as guns with a low serial number. The buyer, if the seller has an expensive low serial number gun and he wants to sell that, the only buyers looking for that are somebody that knows what it is, that wants a low serial number gun. Anybody can run out to the store and get a brand new one right now for pennies. That's not what the seller's looking for. That's not what the buyer's looking for. Like Will Squibb was going to say, it'll never change. So this dude's got a 1930 machine gun. They don't make them anymore. They're not making any new ones. Even if they make a new one today, it's not the same as this old one. Its value is always going to go up. Whether you can do it or buy them on the street today doesn't matter. That value is always going to be there. And there's also the possibility, if you don't have the NFA, that could open it up. Somebody that wants to give you the 300 grand for it, it could open up a much larger market of people that have that 300 grand. You see what I'm saying? That didn't want to go through the hassle. Look at people that buy cars and houses they've never seen, cars they've never drove, just super rich people that like, I'd like to have a gun collection, but didn't want to go through the hassle. Now there's like, no problem, just pay for it. You opened up, if you are the investor of that gun, it just opens you up to a bigger market. So it's not really going to hurt anybody. And shame on you if you invested every penny you had in full auto guns, hoping that was your future, because you shouldn't invest everything in a firearm. You should have money other ways. That was a shitty investment on you if you lose. It shouldn't deter 200 million of us from having our rights because you're trying to, grasp onto your fortune.
I think I understand. It's just, I just got that trailer trash mentality, I guess.
The rich people have nothing to do with the NFA still being there. That's people grasping at straws, looking to push blame off on somebody because they're there looking at it with a narrow mind. It's just like what I said earlier about if the government was more transparent, if companies were more transparent, and if individuals were more transparent, why things are the way they are. There are so many things in this world that people don't understand why the way they are, and they don't take the time to learn. They just start making up theories as to why, and all they want to do is sit around and bitch and be just as bad as the fake news by spewing lies. Like somebody might think that New York Outcast only has 4 guns, and that's probably not an accurate statement. It looks like it on the outside, but the truth could be different.
Yeah, because he's not very transparent on how many guns he has.
See? There you go.
Because he's ashamed.
Then he was bitching the other day that one of his persons he took out to go shooting fired at his steel targets and put a bullet through them, a hole in them. You know,
Must have done it with a Glock.
She put a bunch of holes in them.
This is what happens when you get your steel targets off of Wish.com.
I got those from the local steel plant. So I don't even know how many, enough to do like 8 targets or something like that for $12.
yeah, well,
And they work fine.
Well, then you're puzzled why holes got in it.
Hey man, they work fine. Handgun, shotgun, just not the rifle, which I knew. And normally, people know this, but she got a little carried away, I guess. So
it looked like one of them in that video. She was a newbie.
Yeah. One was a newbie. Basically, it only fired a shotgun once prior to that, and she basically fell in love with the AR. So that was pretty cool. Yeah. She tried like the 15-22, the handguns, and she kept going back to the AR, which was, it's a little cringing because you encourage it, but you gotta pick the one that shoots the most expensive round nowadays, But, but it's all right. We had a lot of fun. It was well worth it. So.
Kingpin says the Still is the name brand of his cardboard targets.
Yeah. Hey man, $12. So I still tell people, if you're shooting 22 handguns, check your local plants. So people say, oh, it doesn't ring the same or whatever. I don't know. Maybe it doesn't give you the perfect ring, but you hit it. So even with a 22. So I don't know. It's worked for us for years. So just don't shoot don't shoot an AR or anything with, Yeah.
What I tell you what I want to know, has Kingpin gone and got his carry permit now that is a shell issue in Maryland? That's what I want to know.
Now, see, I want to know if they made it shall issue, but then every place in Maryland says you can't bring a gun in here, and it's a moot point.
Yeah,
that's the New York way of handling things.
I mean, like New York's doing. What New York's doing is totally unconstitutional, even by the Bruin decision. But it's going to have to be taken back to court to prove it.
I think Kingpin will be okay in Maryland. They will give out a concealed carry permit, but they had that thing like New York. You had to have a good reason. You know what I mean? So I think they put out a statement. They were removing their good reason clause. So I think for the time being, before they have time to change it, would be the time to get one.
I would think so too, before they start adding in, we want your YouTube password and all this shit.
Hey, speaking of EDC, I ordered a new belt yesterday. Hopefully it'll be here soon.
What brand?
I ordered one of the core belts that everybody's reviewed that I've said I've wanted for a long time. So I'm going to try that out, man. I got one of the core leather ones, but I think I'm going to order another one also. I think I'm going to order one of the nylon ones for like every day.
I got an MK Outdoor Journal belt on right now. It's pretty comfortable.
All right. Oh, G23 said the only reason she fell in love with the AR is because she hasn't fired the AK Master Race.
Coming from a guy that shoots a Glock. Okay.
Funny.
I think the AR is a better platform for a beginner, and overall, there's a lot of things I prefer about the AR over the AK. I think having an AK in your collection, whether it's something you use on a regular basis or not, isn't a bad thing to have, kind of like having a lever action or even a plastic gun, or a little bit of this, a little bit of that. But there's so many varieties of AKs out there. You can get them chambered in different calibers and different lengths and all kinds of different stuff, that it's a really hard choice. And then if you want an AK pistol, which are very comfortable to shoot, in my opinion, they're priced more than the damn rifles.
Yeah.
It is America. You can buy what you want. You can buy a Russian gun or a car made in Japan. It's up to you.
That's right.
I like them both, but if I got to choose one, it's an AR. And I've had, time with an AR, training with an AR, slept with an AR. You know what I mean? It's just
Wow.
but that'd be my go-to. You know what I mean? So, but I do see a place for an AK. Oh, definitely. So, but yeah, like I said, if I got to pick one, I'm going AR.
Yeah. Hey, me too. But I mean, like back to what he said. I remember, was it back in the 70s, 80s, or whenever people used to, complain about Japanese cars and shit like this. They were half the price, but you used to get all the gadgets for that half the price that weren't on the full price British or American model. You know what I'm saying? But you bought a Japanese car, it came with all the extras on it for the same price. So you got to, see, there's my trailer park mentality again. So I'll just shut up. And listen to you upper people who live in a higher class than I do.
Oh, listen to that Michigan ketchup snob. Always looking down on us poors.
Damn poor.
I just had to send them proof so he'd keep talking to me that I have Tide and Dawn.
Yeah.
You believe that's the only thing that's nice that he owns? Everything else he owns is budget and economy, but he gets top of the line laundry detergent and dish soap. So it's a start. It's a start. We're going to work on you, Outcast.
I tell you, man.
Next thing you know, you're going to have a climate controlled room with alarm systems and glass cases that are vacuum sealed with all of your multi-million-dollar NFA items in there on these perfect displays that you made, and it'd be R&L NFA displays.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to display your MG42 in pristine condition? R&L NFA displays has you covered. Come on, work with me here.
Oh yeah.
So you still having trouble with your microphone there, Barbecue?
I have no idea. Am I?
Sound
right
better.
Now you sound good.
Oh, okay, cool.
But let's hope it stays that way.
Hopefully.
Yeah. So what's next on my list here? So no, we've actually, I think I got everything on my list. We covered a lot of it under the NFA thing, or not that, but under the key card. I mean, a lot of these 2A cases, according to the Bruin decision, are all unconstitutional. They're just not going to say that's it. You're going to have to fight them in the courts again. I feel
they're probably not going to. They're all unconstitutional. We know that. They know that. That's just the way it is. But the problem with all of that is that people are coming onto YouTube and grasping at straws, like, because they're so desperate. I want this, I want that. I don't want to have to work for it. I don't want to have to get involved. And this will save us all. And tomorrow we'll have. And it's like you're living on a pipe dream, dude. I'm not saying that there isn't a potential. I'm not saying this doesn't show merit or have a good idea or but there's other things that people are just grasping. They're so desperate and they're missing some of the things that are in front of them. National reciprocity, constitutional carry will do more for the culture than trying to remove the NFA. People are trying to get to the top of the tower without working their way up. And unless you got a helicopter and can land up there, it ain't going to happen. But people, I want my toy. I don't care if I can carry it anywhere. I don't care if we can make all of these lies and stuff less, in the mainstream and bring more truth, and people don't look at it the way they look at it and things like that. The way, like we've made so many other things that weren't acceptable in society acceptable, right? I just want my toy. And that's when I push back, and I don't support that sort of behavior. I don't support those people. I just see people grasping at straws because they're desperate.
I think people should hit it every way you can, man. None of this is legit, like you said a minute ago. It's unconstitutional. Yeah, it's a big bite to chew off, but continuously hit it from all angles. Death by a million cuts, however you want to look at it. So, I'm one of those. I don't think that we should have any regulations. And technically, if you got an issue, the government should bring it to you. You shouldn't have to prove your innocence.
Yeah,
They should have to prove your damn guilt. I mean, we should have whatever the military has, in my opinion.
I think I should be able to walk into Western Auto and buy a gun and some ammo right while I'm in there. You know what I'm saying?
Life has risk, but it's pretty simple. They know it. We know it. They're just scared. And it relieves control. It relieves power, regulation, money, all this type of crap. But yeah, in the end, I say chop that damn tower down and bring them down to size. They were never supposed to be up there any goddamn way.
Oh, Kingpin says Rob is going to get so big he will start making his stuff in China.
No.
It'd just be assembled in the USA.
If these guys can use this case to topple the NFA, I'm not against that. I just don't see it happening. I don't think the court's going to hear it. I don't think they really care. Even if they say they're going to hear it, I think they're going to just jerk us around the way they always have. I'm just not going to get my hopes up. A million other people can get their hopes up and sit there on their couch with their bag of Cheetos and their SKS. I'm not. I've got better things to do with my life.
Okay. What about the rest of his case, though? He sold you a piece of plastic with ink drawn on it. How is that a felony?
No, he committed a felony because he violated the existing law. Even if they changed the law in 6 months, he committed the crime when the law was in place. Because the law changed, maybe he can get a lighter sentence or something like that. But even if the law changes, he broke the law before it changed. All right. Everybody's once again grasping at straws. Oh no, we got this guy and he knew damn well what he was doing. And he said it. He said it right there on YouTube. Drop this in your AR-15. Boom. You got a machine gun. That's guilty. Now you can say, yeah, but we got to support him because the NFA, blah. No, I disagree.
That's not guilty.
Yes, it is.
Because you say to do something doesn't mean no.
It is. And it
Squid,
always
go
will
out, rob
be.
a bank. So what? Am I now guilty of robbing a bank because I told you to go rob a bank? No.
No, you're grasping at straws. You know why?
That's not
Because you're
grasping at
desperate.
straws.
You want the NFA gone, and you're desperate.
No,
You like this guy.
I'm not desperate at all. You're sitting there saying that he's guilty because you're like, oh, him and his toys. Step back from that.
I am not supporting anybody who's going to break the laws to get the laws changed.
What law was broken?
Yeah,
because he said you could do this.
Did he break
a law? It
law?
Doesn't make you responsible for what people actually choose to do. I mean, you could take your car and do 150 or 100 downtown.
You're looking at it from a different angle.
How is that grasping at straws?
Well, why would we want to give them that angle? That's the same thing with like the man card in the gun industry. Like just because one ad said get your man card back, that means it's anybody who goes ballistic shooting people trying to get their man card back. I mean, that's crazy. Yeah, that's like people always say, the language matters. Why do we want to give them that power?
Okay, when they banned the bump stocks, I said, don't take the damn thing out of your house, drive it to the range and shoot it. Don't take it to your friend's private property and shoot it. Don't go move it somewhere. Bury it in the backyard or leave it in the closet or whatever. Don't leave the house with it, because all you have to do is get 6 blocks down the street, have a wreck, and you wake up in the hospital with handcuffs on, and because they picked your bump stock out of your wrecked car. This thing that you're not, because we know nobody destroyed them. Okay, we all know nobody threw them out. They were supposed to be destroyed. Nobody did. People kept it. Okay, I don't know what the fuck that was. Anyhow,
assholes that have big loud trucks that have to go by here all the time. Sorry, I thought I was muted.
Anyhow, the point being is I'm not going to support you if you're going to do something stupid to have all of our rights restricted even further or to make all of us look bad. You might not agree with the law, but follow the fucking law until we can get it changed. And if you notice, we have been getting the law changed here and there and here and there. Then once again, I'm going to go right back to saying my toy, because people scream and cry over the fucking NFA, the least important anti-gun law that is out there, and that's the one everybody gives a shit about. It just blows my mind. This guy cares about making money, and he cares about his fame, and that's it. He doesn't care about the Second Amendment. He doesn't care about your rights. He doesn't care about how he makes the culture look. He doesn't care about any of that. He just doesn't. There is a.
I think you don't like him, Squib.
There's a long game to it, and there's a short game, and the short game will almost never win. Every now and then it will. The long game is more likely to win, but people don't want to wait. And you know what gets me is when somebody goes, "We've been waiting forever." It's like, really? You didn't buy your first gun till after Sandy Hook. Where's this? We've been waiting forever. What, you've been waiting, what, 6-7 years? Wow, there are people that have been waiting 60 and 70 years. So where's this "we've been waiting forever" bullshit? You can't make and market anything that's going to convert a semi-auto into a full auto. You can't without an SOT. And then there's only certain agencies or whatnot that you can sell it to. It's as simple as that. You may not like it. You may want your toy now. It's just a piece of plastic. No, it was a blatant way to thumb it in the face of the government, who I don't agree with. I don't agree with the way the government handled it. I don't agree with any of that. But if that's what you want to do, if you want to go onto YouTube and say, "I'm making this thing that you can buy and drop it in your AR, and now it's full auto," you don't think they're going to knock on your fucking door?
But he never made them.
He marketed them, and that is
he advertised them.
Whatever you want to call it. Okay, you're once again just.
Well, no, there's a blatant difference there.
Okay, then if he never sold not one, if he wasn't selling them through his business, if he wasn't marketing them, if he wasn't had nothing to do with these at all. It's all just as facsimile. It never happened. Then what's he doing in jail?
Well,
overreach by our government. And again, I would still go back to the fact that he did advertise them. Hey, you can go and buy this thing, and if you did this, that, or the other thing, you would have this. That should
Why are people still in jail from January 6th?
But plot crime.
How come they don't go arrest the guy who makes crack pipes?
Look, guys, we're just going to never see eye to eye. You guys want to go out there and break every law on the books in the name of changing laws? You go right ahead. I'm not going to do it.
I've also tried to make this point to you, Squid, before. Prohibition. What happened when they did Prohibition? A bunch of speakeasies opened, law enforcement was involved, all kinds of stuff. A bunch of people were like, you know what, we're still going to.
But they were breaking the law doing it too.
Exactly.
Not necessarily. You need to learn your history. It was illegal to manufacture and distribute. That's it. Everything else was legal.
So somebody was still breaking the law.
If you were selling it at a bar, you weren't breaking the law. If you were drinking it, you weren't breaking the law.
That's why they had these speakeasies where nobody was supposed to say anything, and they were being raided by, Chicago police, all kinds of things like that.
Yeah, I think on this one we're going to have to agree to disagree. I think.
I'll tell you something that's bothered me that just happened lately. It bothers me that Biden's selling off our strategic oil reserves.
I know, to the Chinese.
And you're flipping out over day one. He signed this. He's going to be doing this every day to like October.
Yeah.
And as far as I saw, he's not even selling it. He's just knocking it off the debt or some crap. And China that got part of it, that's the company that's paying Hunter Biden money. I mean, come on, man. What the hell? That strategic oil reserves, I could be wrong. It could be 100% the government, but that seems like that should belong to us. That is for us, the people. That's not for, if he wants to sell oil to China, then you pump new out of the ground. But what's in them barrels, that's our property, right?
Yeah. But it's like anything else. If you remember back to the start of the big pandemic, right? The U.S. government was meant to have loads of those ventilators in stock for emergencies, but Obama got rid of them all. Right? Same principle with this oil. It's meant to be there for the reserve, but the government's getting rid of it.
I see gutting us, man.
I see another
doing this for years.
Yeah, a sheeple trend that I've already noticed right here. Our gas dropped down to like $4.65, and I had several people saying, "Do you see how cheap gas was?" The peasants are thrilled
Cheap.
that it dropped 25 cents. Like all, oh, okay, we're all good. No need to panic because it dropped 25 cents. Seriously. People like, hey, do you see how cheap gas is?
Hey, gas ain't cheap.
Yeah, they had a gas station
20
war down here too for a couple of days, and the gas got down. People were talking about how cheap it was. I got to like $4.35 or something, and people were lined up, and they were all
Needs to-
fighting back and forth and stuff. Sheep, man. Are
It
you
needs to
kidding
get
me?
back down to $1.99, $2. Then I would say, oh, look, gas is cheap now. You know?
I'll give you $1.50 because that's giving you $1 for gas because our state's put 50 cents on it.
Yeah.
So I'll give you $1.50. Other than that, I'm upset.
Hey, here's another thing we need to worry about. Is it this coming week or next week where I can't remember what committee it is having the head honcho from Smith and Wesson, Glock, and Ruger giving and they're having a hearing up there in the congressional hearing. Are they going to sell us down the river? You know, because it's all to do with the weapons of war.
I doubt they sell us down the river. I bet it's just a cluster like their January 6th hearings, and nothing will be of it. Just look at all the times they had the executives from Google and Facebook and Twitter and all that up there. It's just for show. It doesn't mean anything.
Well, I'm hoping one of them will say when they go about these weapons of war, what the military have, somebody will tell them military don't buy AR-15s. So they were made for the civilian market. So
now that Squib's back, can we probe him on the hollow point AR round question for home defense?
Don't bother. I figured out why you sent me that text message now, Outcast.
Text message. I don't know what text message, but anyway, yeah. So you don't want to give an opinion if you think hollow points beneficial for home defense
and an
with an AR?
Nah.
I was asking what ammo should I use in an AR-15 for home defense. He's not. Oh well. Guess he doesn't want to answer that one. Or you two are talking secretly in secret messages like lovers.
No. I sent him a text of my detergents earlier. So I'm not sure. I'm trying to go back and see.
That's the exact kind of thing lovers do. These are my detergents. Oh, you're gonna smell good.
Yeah.
Conspiracy, man. Conspiracy.
Well, I'm poor, but I'm a certain level of poor.
Yeah. Well, guys, it's 4:30 already. Damn. Doesn't time fly when you're having fun? So, in case anybody was interested, my quiz will be drawn next week. While we're having a pause here, I'll give the plug. And for the swag pack, and it was an easy question. Mind you, I've only got about 3 entries so far. What I wanted to know to do with the 1911, I want to know the M1911A1. What changes were made to the original design?
Oh, that's an easy one.
That's all I want to know. I got my answer off of Google, so that's my. If it's not, and what I want is what I mean, as long as you get what this says, we're good to go. You know? So that's all I'm looking for. Email me at rickslifeasIseeit@gmail.com or spottedrick@gmail.com. All right, got that out the way. Get it into me by next Saturday. And
would you believe I don't own an M1? A1?
you know, and why I'm on my PSAs or taking thing here, don't forget to go to rnldisplays.com to get your AR stand. I mean, like I'm using the wall mount that comes with it, I think, and the table mount is right there on top of my toolbox. You could use that as well. I prefer the wall mount. I think it looks cool. Looks like it's just floating in space up there, you know. So you can get them at rnldisplays.com. And if you use at checkout, if you use Rick's Life, you get 15% discount. Not only does he do those, he does them for the pistol caliber carbines that take Glock mags. He has individual or double pistol things now, stands. And has the AK one come out yet?
It hasn't. It's all on me. I just haven't put any time into it. Honestly, sales have dropped here to the point where I'm not really that motivated, and I've still got a whole crap load of stock, and nobody's interested except for always my cheapest product. So I haven't done much.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's all right. I mean, totally understand. It's hard
It's the Biden economy.
Around. You know, what you need to do is hire somebody to do it. Get it. I know how to make it all
It would cost more money. So,
I know how
that's the problem is in debt with money as it is. So, but it's, I do things. I'm in a shit. I can't even tell you how many things. So I'm spread out pretty evenly. So one area doesn't bother me.
Find a manufacturer who will produce it in China at a cheaper price and sell it that way.
No.
And word it as put together in America. You know? Like they do with cars and stuff like that, you know?
Hey, I just got a notification from God Family and Guns. U.S. Inspector General buys 40 caliber Glocks and frangible ammo. So there we go. We'll keep hearing every day about more of these departments. But start to notice from what's came out, man, a lot of these departments are buying Glocks.
Yeah.
So it kind of seems funny that Glock's not going to be there to testify.
I think they're meant to be. I'm not sure.
I don't think Glock's on that list because it would be very interesting to ask them in public there how many guns you sold to U.S. agencies. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's all about the money, isn't it?
I heard they were going to go after the Smith & Wesson and the guys that are going to testify. They're going to want to know how many AR-15s you sold, how much money you spent on AR-15 advertising and stuff like that. So it's kind of interesting that they don't have their biggest customer in there.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. So, all right, guys. You got anything else you want to discuss? I got my cat sitting here just staring at me because it's past his dinner time. He's become very clingy since the other one, passed away. Which I can understand. That's all he's known for. He's about 18 months younger. So, 13 and a half years? That's all he's known is the other cat, He really hasn't been on his own like this. So he's taking adjustment. He's not eating much. He's lost a lot of weight, but he's always been a stressful cat. So, but I think he's finally coming around. aren't you, bud? You know? All right. Glock is being sued by New York, G23 says. You know? So.
Yeah, that came out like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Oh, I know why Glock's not got to testify into Congress. It's because they don't make an AR-15. That's why. You watch this whole Congress thing, every Democrat, it's going to be the AR-15, AR-15, AR-15.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And I'm hoping those people will say that it's not, you know, because they keep calling it weapons of war or an assault weapon, is that they're put them straight, that it's not, you know. But, I mean, it does, I mean, we know the AR-15 is a semi-auto, fires one pull, you know, we know all that. But, I mean, I can, to the uneducated, to the anti-gunner, people who don't even own guns, you show them one that the military have and you show them the AR-15, they're going to say, what's the difference? You know? So. But then again, there's a lot of stuff in this world that looks similar to something else. You know what I'm saying? And you don't have all this fuss about it.
Yeah, I'd say they look identical. I'll agree with you. But show me why, just because the military has it, that I can't have it.
Exactly. You know? But, I mean, it comes down to, hey, why do all air fryers look the same? You know what I'm saying? But nobody gets all bent out of shape because of other stuff like that. You know, I mean, basic vacuum cleaner runs off of the same principle. All of them, you know what I'm saying? But nobody taking vacuum cleaners to the fucking congressional hearing.
All cell phones look alike.
Yeah, exactly.
That's just racist in itself, right there.
Yeah. But did you know what you were talking about earlier? My cell phone is more powerful than the computer that sent us to the moon. Just thought I'll mention that.
That's what I was trying to say earlier. The friggin' computer that sent us to the moon was literally the size of room. All the electronics, everything. It took up an entire freaking room. So to think like, oh, the technology, friggin' the computer in your car is more powerful than the computer that took us to the moon.
Oh yeah, but it's come. I mean, but
if you believe we went when they say we went.
But where I'm going with this is, but what's that? How long ago was that? 50 years or 60 years ago? What was it?
53.
Yeah.
55.
But I know we're going back down that rabbit hole, and I don't want to. I want to get off of here, go eat. But 63 years, you said?
53.
53. Okay. Just take America as a nation. Or take the world. No, not America, the world. We've advanced so far in 53 years than we did since time began. You know what I'm saying? You had a couple of 100 years, 400 or 500 years, of the civilization. We've had more advancement in this 55 years since then than we did for the 400 or 500 years before. Why? How?
2,000 years before.
Well, okay. I was trying to keep it realistic, But you're right. 2,000 years, and in the last 53 years, we've had more advancement than you had for the last 2,000 years.
It's because of mac and cheese, Rick.
Yeah. I bought cheese, and I bought cheddar cheese. I bought no American cheese. Oh, talking about that, I went shopping yesterday. I had a doctor's appointment, so I was in town, so I went to the dreaded Walmart. It's outrageous. You know, here's an example. I buy the frozen garlic bread, Walmart brand. Was it Great Value? Is their brand name? It's been it's been $1. I mean, it went up sometime last year to $1.98. It used to be $1.50 or $1.49. Then it went up to $1.98. I haven't been there for a couple of months. Yesterday, it's up to $2.48 now. From $1.98 to $2.48. It's outrageous. It's fucking outrageous. I normally buy rolls when I'm up there. A pack of 6. Nice, crusty rolls. $1.98 for goddamn yonks. I mean, yonks. Yesterday, they went up. They went up from $1.98 to $2.48 as well.
You considered making your own, Rick, like that garlic bread?
Yes. But
it's real simple, and you can actually buy like yesterday's bread at a discount because you're throwing it in the oven and making it hard anyway.
The price, how prices have gone up outrageously.
Yeah.
The inflation is real. I know the higher ups and this fucking stupid administration we have no clue what the common, trailer person like me has,
It costs me probably extra $40, $50 a day. It costs me $20 more in gas, and it costs me about $20 more in food every day.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I can believe it. Oh yeah.
And that's just going to work and eating and coming home, eating, not vacationing, not traveling, not doing things for entertainment or doing anything. That's not even living. That's just survival at a steady pace. Is $40 a day more.
Yeah.
And it's not like more. It's like $40 minimum. You know what I mean? Yeah. More.
Another thing, the cat litter I normally buy, 20-pound box, $13. Well, actually now it's $13 and so many cents. It used to be just $12 and so many cents. It's gone up about 50, 60 cents, right? And I'm thinking, that ain't, because considering what everything else has gone up, I said, well, okay, that ain't bad for, it's all bad, but if you understand what I'm saying there. But then I picked it up, put it in my cart. It wasn't until I got home and I was bringing it in and I looked at it. It used to be a 20-pound box. It's now a 19-pound box. It says right on the front, 19 pounds.
So they got you with inflation and shrinkflation at the same time. And you thought you were doing good.
Yeah.
They done the same thing with Folgers coffee, with a lot of different things.
Yeah, I thought, motherfuckers. Anyway, all right, Jason, you got any plugs or shout outs?
Nope, not really. Go check out G23 and Unloaded Media tonight, and see you guys all around in some other chats. And, enjoy the summertime. We're right in the middle of it. It's all downhill from here, so enjoy the time you got.
Oh, I know what I was going to say to you, Jason. I don't recall when I saw you put out your Freedom Ring or whatever videos. Is that when you were shooting your firearm there?
You almost got blown over with a hand cannon.
Yeah. Well, I'll be honest with you, I think that's the first time I've ever actually seen you.
Oh, right? Okay. My laptop, I might have had my camera on once or twice now and then.
I don't recall, but I was kind of bummed out.
Oh, well.
For some unknown reason, I just thought you were a short little fat guy like me.
Oh,
I thought we had a kindred spirit there, in the fatness.
Oh,
You
I
know?
still love you the same, Rick.
Well, I still love you too, even though that was disappointed.
Hey, if you can't be with the one you love the one you're with, right?
Yeah, that's right.
You're
That's right.
upset that he's healthy and active?
And eat salad.
You see that shit? Misery loves company.
Well,
You
see, at
see
least
that?
he didn't hack on me about my blooper because
Yeah.
I already was prepared for the hackings. You know what I mean? I got plenty of it out there in the chat. They make 22s and this and that. That was purely my stance, my fault, my bad posture, footwork. But you didn't see the positives of it. Yeah, I stumbled backwards. I never lost my grip. I never was off target. And even when I come back up laughing and made my final shot, still never lost my grip. Gun was always pointed down range at the enemy. Sights were where they're supposed to be. So there's plenty of positives there. So I was really just practicing for, self-defense drill, man. You never know when you're off balance.
Exactly.
And wasn't
That's
there
what
like
I
a
thought it
hurricane or something going through too? I mean,
Oh
That's
yeah,
what
man. I skipped breakfast that day, and then the winds was so strong. It was just a perfect storm of to blow a little guy around like me. But, that was, tell you what, make fun all you want. That sure was fun. That was funner than hell. So screw you. I had a good time.
That's all that counts. All right, New York. You got any shout outs or plugs?
I'll just say quick. I think it's cool you showed that, Jason, because it seems like most people, they want to run everything like a high-speed movie. Everything's perfect, this and that. But reality, things happen sometimes. Sometimes, you didn't have your grip right, you didn't have your stance right, or you drop your magazine. Sometimes this stuff happens. You know what I mean? So I like the reality, honestly, because really none of us are Rambo. Like your grandma could be Rambo with a good director and 30 takes, but none of us are really Rambo. Other than that, thanks for joining us. Maybe check out G23 if you're interested. If I piss Squib off, sorry, but you're a grown ass man. I'm sure you'll get over it. Everybody else, have a great evening.
Oh yeah. Oh, G23 says, Jason, don't forget about the cigarettes have gone up.
Yeah, but they were already up there. My price really hasn't changed on cigarettes in a year.
Well, I mean, what's the average price of cigarettes now?
$7.50.
Damn.
Your firstborn.
When I left Rhode Island, what was it, 2019? Marlboros were already $10.
Yeah, with 2019 when we all went to Washington D.C., I bought 2 packs there, and it was like little $24 maybe.
Yeah,
I think it was 25. It was like 24.
Yeah, a lot of it's tax they put on it. Trying to stop you from smoking.
It's like 12 to 15 around here.
And I tell you what, I personally would still be smoking today if I quit because of health. Nothing to do with the price of them. You know what I'm saying? The price didn't deter me. I was going to pay what I had to pay for my cigarettes. But the doctor told me if I didn't stop, I'll be... And you've heard me mention it, the oxygen. He said, if you don't stop, you're going to be walking around with your tubes up your nose, carrying your oxygen tank. And for some reason, that really freaks me out. And that's why I stopped smoking. So, anyway, guns and barbecue. You got anything?
Thanks.
I'd like to tell New York Outcast, don't apologize. It shows weakness. No, seriously.
That's his motto. I don't stand by that. I think you screw up, you should admit it. That's part of being a man.
With you there. But no, I was going to plug Squib's channel. Go check out the video that he just released today. I realized we were giving him shit about his position, but it's because he's a leftist. Check out his video today. You'll even hear him say it. He's more left than right. So check out Squib. Check out everybody on the panel here. But tonight is the last barbecue chat, so at least for the foreseeable future. So if you want to tune into the last barbecue chat and check that out, hope to see you there. And thanks for being back, Rick.
Back up. What do you mean the last barbecue chat?
Last barbecue chat. I say, life's just been busy.
Oh, okay.
And I had to cut something out of the schedule. And unfortunately, my busiest days seem to be Saturdays. That's when I can usually get help with, going to the grocery store or the laundromat or, whatever the frick it is that I need to do. So, unfortunately, that chat is on a Saturday, and with that being my busiest day, that was the most logical thing to cut out. So, yeah, if life slows back down,
I can understand that.
Yep. So yeah, if life slows back down, might fire it back up, but for the time being, just gotta.
You're still doing the other ones?
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, okay. You're not disappearing from YouTube.
No.
Okay. All right. I'll let you off with that one then. Okay.
All right.
All right. Did I get everybody? Okay. I want to say thank you to everybody in the chat for stopping by. I really appreciate it. God damn, I almost gone 2 hours. I haven't done it in a long time. So, again, thank you all for being here. I really do appreciate it. It's, spending your Saturday afternoon with me is great because I do waffle on. And anyway, I'll be back on Wednesday, hopefully, if, everything works out right. But then again, I mean, I got kind of same thing, guns and barbecues going on. Either this one or Wednesday one might have to disappear for a little while. I don't want to go into details right now, but I will let you guys know eventually. One of them might have to go for a little while. But anyway, so I want to say thank you. I appreciate it. And I will talk to you all later. So, good evening and good afternoon, everybody. Bye. Bye, Sabrina.
Eat a
salad.